Connection initiated. Welcome, visitor.
Forcing the colossal ship to veer.
The core formation hesitated for the first time.
Row 2 choked on a disbelieving laugh. Row 2 paced tight circles.
12 hours. Debris everywhere. Mako's aiming like they're reading my mind. Who designs a war like this?
Visitor, you pulled a node from my archive. Cute. Command does what command always does when the arithmetic turns ugly. It knocks. It asks the exhausted for clarity. And when the answer sounds useful enough, it calls it strategy. Watch closely, visitor. This is not rest. This is the pause before Zeta 21 is sent back into the line. Before we continue, protocol. If you value the archive, remain connected. Touch the approval glyph once. Signal approval. Leave a trace in the comments. Now, back to today's node.
Entry 254.14. Rapid turnaround.
The room had gone still, but not peaceful.
Outside our quarters, Toledo remained calm. That thought stayed with me, not because it comforted me, but because it sharpened the divide. Somewhere above us, in F5, fleets were bleeding themselves into wreckage. Makos were driving forward in deliberate, crushing pressure. Battleship Isis was holding the line by will and armor alone. And here, below all of it, the station corridors still hummed with routine. Orders, footsteps, tired voices, the machinery of war trying to remain civilized. The knock at our door came before the half hour had passed. The duty officer stepped inside, without anyone responding to the knock, carrying a slate and too much fatigue for a single man to wear gracefully. His uniform was immaculate. His face was not. He looked as men do when they have spent too long organizing other people's emergencies. His eyes went first to the datapad in my hands.
What personal intel does Zeta 21 have?
No wasted time, no courtesy, only urgency. We reviewed our gun cam from the last rotation. The core advance in F5 is not simply brute force pressure. The two Makos remain side by side, using their mass to force the corridor forward toward Isis. Their support formations are doing the actual shaping. The officer said nothing, so I continued. Bullheads are anchoring the forward lane. Plecos, Requiems, and Sawbacks are doing the finer work, screening angles, baiting interceptors, adjusting after every order response. They are not reacting randomly. They are feeding the Makos the space they need. Row 1 stepped beside me and pointed to the display.
Here, this sequence repeats. The smaller ships pressure one edge, then pull just enough to make our interceptors commit. Once we expose ourselves, the bullheads stabilize the corridor, and the Makos advance into the loosened sector.
Row 2, sitting on the opposite bunk, rubbed at one eye.
In simpler terms, they're making us tidy the battlefield for them.
The officer ignored the tone. He was too tired to waste effort on sarcasm.
And your recommendation, Commander?
I enlarged the tactical frame until the movements became clearer. Isis cannot pressure the Makos cleanly while the corridor remains layered. But the outer screen is doing too much work. Hit the Plecos and heavy fighters hard enough, quickly enough, and the bullheads will be forced to slide forward to compensate. The moment one of the Makos has to adjust its overlap with the other, Isis gets her shot.
Row 3 looked up from his bunk, hesitant at first.
They hesitate when the push is real.
The officer turned toward him.
Row 3 swallowed, then forced himself onward.
When we hit with full commitment, the smaller ships pause for a second. Not long, but they check whether it's a feint before they reform. I saw it twice.
Row 1 gave a single nod.
He's right.
The officer extended his hand, and I passed him the data pad. He watched the clip in silence. When he finished, he lowered the slate in his other hand and looked at the 4 of us in turn. Not like a superior reviewing subordinates, like a man measuring whether the cost had already been paid and whether any more could still be justified.
You are all past rotation. You should be flat on your backs.
An excellent idea, sir. We strongly support it.
The officer looked only at me.
Can you fly?
I looked to my wing first. Row 1 answered with the smallest nod. Row 2 lifted both hands in surrender.
Against my better judgment, and in defiance of every survival instinct I possess. Yes.
Row 3 took a breath, held it, then said,
Yes, sir.
His voice shook, but it held. I answered last. Yes, sir. The wing can fly.
The officer looked back at the footage, then at his slate, then at me again.
Isis is already adapting formation in F5. Tactical has been searching for a way to thin the corridor without wasting interceptor wings. If your analysis holds, I can clear Zeta 21 for rapid turnaround.
Hear that? We're now an official terrible idea.
The officer continued, as if he had not spoken.
You will not return because you argued well. You will return because experienced wings are in short supply and this may work. Do not make me regret it.
No, sir.
He turned toward the door, then stopped.
Launch window in 11 minutes. You'll receive updated vectors on ascent. Keep that analysis. You may need it again.
Then he was gone. For a moment, no one moved. Then row 2 rose with the expression of a man personally insulted by reality.
Well, I always wanted my bad decisions to be endorsed by command.
Row 3 stood more slowly. I could see it in him now more clearly than before. Not panic, not collapse, but effort. The effort of containing fear so that it remained inside the body and did not leak into the hands.
Commander, if I break formation again...
You will not. He looked unconvinced. So I crossed the small room and took my helmet from the bunk. Listen to me. Fear is no crime. Let it speak in the blood if it must, but not in the hands. Stay on me. Stay on row 1. If the line becomes noise, make us your horizon. Row 2 straightened and gave a weary scoff.
That was almost poetic. We truly are doomed.
I checked the seal line on my gloves. Audentes fortuna juvat. Row 2 blinked.
You know, one day I'm going to need you to stop encouraging fate in dead languages.
One day I may. Row 1 picked up his helmet.
We should move.
Segment concluded. Zeta 21 offers analysis. Command sanctifies a terrible idea. Row 2, mocking the commanding officer and the plan in the same breath. Efficient. I admire efficiency. There, I've praised a human. That was unpleasant. Continue, visitor. The corridor is waiting. Session terminated.